So, nearly 2.5 hours into the 2019 edition of the Daytona 24 Hours here at Milton Keynes, and boy has it been a wild ride so far. Not only have we had several lead changes, we've also had several weather changes. In fact, we've almost had all 4 seasons in the space of about 2.5 hours. James, up with the commentary box, what's been the story of the race so far?
Where on earth do we begin? Should we begin with the D-Max? Let's begin with the D-Max, shall we?
Let's go for it.
Because if you saw our previous segment, then you will know full well that Team Applewood had an absolute storm of a start after a pretty tepid qualifying. Started 8th through the mishap of racing Sharks, spinning on the formation lap, serving a black flag penalty, through just pure sheer determination. Bobby Chumley put in one of the best stints which I've seen in a kart to date, taking their team up to first. You catch us at a bit of an awkward moment actually, because Team Applewood have just recently pitted, and so they don't actually lead the race, but believe us, they are in the net lead of the race and they lead comfortably as well. And in regards to the rest of the podium, 6 Helmets Racing currently occupied P2, but it's again, everyone's going a little bit off colour, everyone's going a little bit offbeat with their strategies. We believe P3 is going to be HP Racing, at least that was the order before this most recent pit stop phase. 6 Helmets and HP had been switching positions pretty regularly before that pit stop, but those are the 3 that we're expecting to remain in the front 3 once this pit stop phase is over. The Bandits in front, D&D Wildcard Racing there or thereabouts as well. And actually a shout out to the aforementioned Racing Sharks. They're on their way back up. We could see them in the battle for the podium near the end of the race. In Saudi, continuing on as expected, Brentwood Banter, wow, what an opening stint they had, keeping the car on track without pitting for over 2 hours in length. A sensational effort, really taking advantage of the rain to save a bit of fuel. They were so closely followed by TGS Racing for a lot of that time, but then TGS, something happened to their car, brought into the garage. They are now dead last, which means that we've got this excellent battle for P2 between Where's the Weybridge, Going, Gone, Pure Racing and Team Camo, completely up for grabs. But even at this early stage, 2.5 hours in, fair to say that Brentwood Banter, it's theirs to lose.
Now, in terms of the weather, we talked about it as well. I mean, it's currently starting to spit the rain again. We've had some rather extremes of weather. We've had bright sunny conditions, but at the same time we've had even full-on hailstorms at one point. How extreme really has this weather been?
It's been extreme in that it's been unbelievably unpredictable. There's been not one moment where these drivers have been able to rest on their laurels. So many times have we seen people caught out down at turn 10, down at turn 8, down at turn 7, whether it be dry or wet, and it saps the confidence from them. You could see it visibly that they don't really know when is right to push. And when the rain comes down, which it has so often, yeah, it just unsettles everyone, and that has a domino effect into, oh, well, you know, can I battle with other drivers? Thankfully, it seems a bit of a reprieve coming. We were looking at the weather forecast going into the 24-hour race, and we're thinking 5 o'clock, round then, that looks to be when everything settles down. And certainly looking over to my left, where usually we have seen very big patches of black clouds, now we see not a lot of clouds, quite a lot of blue sky. So I think the best conditions yet to come.
So we're just watching a couple of the fuel stops going on here, going forward. Look at the 114. Just to give us a reminder of who 114 is, James?
That is FEC Karting Manchester.
So that's the car that's been up there in and around the top 10 at most of this race. So what happens with the fuel stops is that instead of being like an electronic pump or a hydraulic pump, it's literally hand pumped into the car. So what they do is the cart comes in, the stops at the designated point, the cart then goes back, comes in, the driver gets out and goes around to the barrier. Then, to our very helpful fuel marshals here, will then hand pump the fuel into the fuel tank in the cart. Once it's finished, either the existing driver will get in, looks as though he's dropping way down the order as a result of that. It's a bit of a slow stop in many cases.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in the order is he at the moment?
Well, to be fair, this is the same Karting Manchester team that was in the barriers down at turn 8 as well, so they're looking to recover as best as they can. You're right, they are top 10 pace, but they have had to have a massive rethink of their strategy after that crash. They currently rejoin the order P42 overall. They are dead last in D-Max as things stand. Long road ahead as the rain starts to fall again.
I've got one of the drivers here with me, just been out there so far. What's your name and which team are you part of?
My name's Boyd Wayne. I'm with Bandits in front.
And so how's your race been so far? It's been pretty up and down for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, pretty up and down. It's been so up and down. We don't know really if it's going to work out what we're doing or not. We're hoping for the best. The driver out there right now actually has done a brilliant edit to close down on the leading people. So it's my turn to keep it up now. Just see how it goes.
How do you think you're going to cope with these wet conditions?
My driving in the wet has come up a lot in the recent times. So hopefully I do well again and can at least keep us where we are.
Really just keep it out of trouble, keep it out of the barriers, yeah?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Good stuff. Well, best of luck. We'll see you out there. Good stuff. So we're just waiting for a few more fuel stops to go on. We've also had, haven't we, James, a couple of penalties for a couple of drivers as well. Talk us a little bit about that, particularly a couple of the one of our Italian teams.
Yeah, so the first black flag, I mean, it is already well documented at this point, Racing Sharks, but we had our second black flag in the form of Scuderia WLF, a team that we were expecting a lot from, certainly, and they looked to be the part in qualifying. Pace was looking great, all good and well, and then they hit and run, and unfortunately that saw them on the naughty step in the sim bin. And unfortunately for WLF, that has seen them all the way down the order into 4th from last. Again, thankfully it's happened pretty early in the race for them, so there's plenty of time to catch back up, but then again, as I see the conditions worsening even more so, I feel like they've got a tough job on their hands, very much in a similar vein to FEC Manchester.
Yeah, so we've now got Team 113 in the pit lane. Just give us an idea who's Team 113 and whereabouts are they?
Well, Team 113 were in fact just in the lead. It is of course the Bandits team,
yes.
Bandits in front, and so they are coming in from the lead. And with this pit stop, we will see Team Applewood, very aptly, retaking the lead of the race after their earlier pit stop.
Just, I don't know if we can see it on camera here again, just watching this fuel stop happen once more. So just trying to get the fuel tank cap off here. A bit of a struggle. I think maybe because there's some wet hands trying to get this off. One of the drivers with one of the gloves unscrewing the fuel cap. And now what should we see here? The fuel sort of pipe goes in and he gets manually churned in by another of our fuel marshals. Goes in pretty quickly actually. It's quicker than I expected, but it's tank's filling up nicely. The D-Max carts get the advantage because some of these drivers, because it's a translucent fuel tank, you are able to see to a certain extent how much fuel you've got left, so it gives you a chance to kind of just glance down quickly and see how much that you've got.
And we've seen people actually run out of fuel on track as well. Of course, the Raven Alpha squad.
Yeah. So this is the Bandits in front of the 113 with the driver heading against the cart now. So we'll have a quick chat to the driver who's just jumped out to see how he found that stint in a second. Quick check of the helmet tie, and of course a quick check of the conditions. Gets a thumbs up and away he goes. Let's have a quick chat with the driver who just jumped out of the Bandits in front cart quickly. What's your name, chap?
Archie Elliott.
How do you find the conditions out there?
Very tricky actually, very tricky.
Is it trickier than you expected, or have you driven in the wet before?
I haven't got that much experience in the wet, but out there I've been told I've been quite good because the kart that I have is a lot slower than the other G-Maxes down the straight, but they have a lot of a big advantage in the corners.
How much of a surprise was it when that sort of, you had a couple of big sort of rain showers come down? Is it that big of a shock when you get such a big change in track conditions?
Yeah, it is very surprising, but again, you're going to have to just try and get used to it. And if you do, then you're going to do very well.
How do you reckon your man's going to get on out there?
If he manages to keep all front tyres with traction, I think he'll do quite well. If he crashes, then I'm going to have to laugh very hard.
Well, it's your teammate, don't laugh too much.
Alright. Well,
good.
I'm going to have to.
Good stuff, well done, good stuff. So, as you can see, it's obviously, the weather's not fantastic, but it's just abated a little bit. But obviously, getting rather wet here at Daytona, of course, for this 2.5 hours gone. Still pace to go, so head to My Laps, of course, for all the information. Link will be in the description for all that. And I think it's now time for me to go and possibly drive back in the commentary box. So, see you in a moment. Someone go get me a towel.